Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. How's it going? Um, all right. I have I'm Julie with Balance Life with Julie, regenerative health practitioner and holistic nutritionist. And in today's call, I really would love to, or today's live rather, I would love to talk about health for women in their 40s. And this kind of like came to me because I was out for a walk yesterday in my neighborhood. I love getting outside every single day and getting fresh air and getting some oxygen and just, taking in nature. I think it is so, so important, especially as we get into spring, that we're getting outside and we're spending some time in nature. Anyway, as I was walking, I saw, like, I was almost at my house and I saw this person laying on the ground, like across the sidewalk, body across the sidewalk, head on a little portion of the grass in front of her house. And this is one of my neighbors, one of my elderly neighbors. I've seen her probably over the past few years, hundreds and hundreds of times out for walks, and I've said hello to her countless times. And so as I approached, I was like, oh, she's not laying there on purpose, like something happened. So I crouched down beside her and I asked her, hey, what happened? Are you okay? And she's like, she wasn't quite coherent. And she was like, I fell. I said, all right, well, who would you like me to message? Who would you like me to call? And she had me go over to her next door neighbors. The next door neighbors came over, and, based on what she was saying to us, that she was in a lot of pain, we decided, well, it's probably best for us to call an ambulance. This is somebody who's like, an older person. And so I called 911, and 911 asked me, like, what happened, what's going on, and do we need ambulance fire? So I described the situation, and the 911 operator asked, like, how old is this person? And I said, oh, she's 80, right? And as luck would have it, earlier that day, I saw this clip on Instagram where Mel Robbins was talking to an orthopedic surgeon. And this orthopedic surgeon was saying, like, something like 30% of the women that have falls in their older years, really, really hurt themselves, really injure their hips, and they never recover, like 30%, which is a significant number. So it got me to thinking, sorry for the long intro, but it got me to thinking about just like, when exactly is it important for us to prioritize our health? Is it when we get to that stage where obviously there's weakness within the body, or do we want to start earlier? And as the more that I think about it, since my space is all in regenerative health and really root cause healing and addressing the root causes of chronic illness and disease within the body, I really think the best time to start prioritizing your health is obviously ideally in childhood, but definitely when you're in your 30s and your 40s. Like, if you're a woman in your 30s and 40s and you haven't started to prioritize your health and well-being, you must. Because what you're doing today, you are laying the foundation for your future self. So if you want to be able to do the things that you enjoy doing, like going out for a walk or bike ride, and just being able to move and be in your body and have no pain, you need to start taking care of yourself. That starts today. And this is something that I see primarily with a lot of women that I talk to. They put themselves at the very last of their list. They're looking after their kids, their parents, their partner, whatever the situation is. They're doing all of these things for other people, and they're at the very bottom of their own list. And they're like, oh, when I get to it. Or, case in point, I was actually speaking to one of my partners on Friday, and she's got a new grandbaby that came into the world. And I asked her how things are going. She was like, I haven't not had any of my superfoods now for months. The boxes come every month, and I just don't open them. I'm not taking them. And I'm like, why not? You're the caregiver for your grandkids, and you need to be like healthy and strong for your family. They're relying on you. You know, you're helping your kids out by looking after their kids. And so if you're not feeling the best in your body, how do you expect to have the energy and the vitality to be able to give to others? And this is also where, you know, a lot of women, they're going through their life, they're tired, they're frustrated, they're depleted, maybe they're dealing with gut issues, hormonal issues. All of these things are happening in their body and they're not feeling 100%, not to mention all the chronic aches and pains. And it's all because they're not doing the bare minimum for themselves on a daily basis. So the two things that I think are foundational always is quality hydration, quality nutrition. You know, if you can do those two things consistently, day in, day out, you're going to start to lay a strong foundation for yourself. And then, of course, moving daily, getting sleep. So I'm going to talk about all of these things and like sort of try and hit some of the most important pieces. And hopefully you're able to start to incorporate this into your life on a daily basis. And that really is the thing, is consistency over time. It's not about what you do one day a week or when you think about it. It's just really the repetition of it that is the most important. So let's talk about that was a lot. Let's talk about quality hydration. Okay. So for myself, I believe quality hydration, the best hydration on the market is using molecular hydrogen with frequencies. And the reason for that is that we are made up of 62% hydrogen. And when we're using molecular hydrogen with frequencies, what we're doing is we're actually bringing the healing properties of hydrogen into our bodies. So the bottle that I use has multiple frequencies: energy, recovery, and lumivitae, which are the frequencies of the sun. And there is something about infusing your water with frequencies, with those energy frequencies, with recovery and lumivitae, which allow the water to just be different within the body. So I have tested this. I did a live blood analysis several months ago, and I tested my blood just drinking spring filtered water, and my blood was still kind of clumped together. It was still bound. And I have a video on my Instagram somewhere about it. And then I ran a recovery cycle on my bottle, and we tested my blood again, and the red blood cells had separated. The plasma within the blood had cleaned up, and there was like this beautiful white light around all the red blood cells. So I've visibly seen with my eyes the benefits of drinking from this bottle. And I've seen the difference between just drinking filtered water and drinking molecular hydrogen water with frequencies. And so this hydrates at the cell level. Hydrogen is the smallest molecule which can penetrate into all the cells. But when we're drinking water that isn't hydrating, what ends up happening is that the water doesn't even get into the cells. And if the water can't get into the cells, water is the carrier for oxygen and nutrients. And so if the water can't get into the cells, it also means that oxygen and nutrients can't get into the cells in the same way. The other thing I love about molecular hydrogen and this device is I can bring it with me absolutely anywhere, right? I fly with it. I go across town with it. I bring it with me absolutely everywhere. I drink about 6 or 7 bottles of these per day. And here's an interesting thing. I did a 14-day water only journey 3 years ago. And I was supervised. I went to a clinic to do that experience. And I was drinking distilled water. The clinic was giving me distilled water. And it was really hard for me. That whole 14-day experience, like I still remember to this day, over like 4 years later, day 3, day 8, day 11, I really struggled. In fact, I had 2 good hours in me per day to work, and the rest of the time I had to rest. Now, back in January, there was a group of us that decided we were going to do a 40-day transformation to really start our 2025 off, right? And so my first 31 days, I just did the superfoods. I did some herbs. I also did my molecular hydrogen every day, multiple times a day. And so that's what I did. And then partway through that 31-day experience, I was like, you know what? I haven't done water only since that experience back in 2021. Let me do just 10 days on water, but let me do it with molecular hydrogen plus frequencies. And so I was still doing my super aminos, and I was only doing the super aminos and the molecular hydrogen with frequencies. So in the morning, I would wake up, I'd run the Lumivite cycle, and then I'd drink my water. And then for the rest of the day, I was running recovery frequencies because I figured I wanted my body to rebuild and recover. And so I did that for 10 days, 0 downtime. I was still able to exercise most days. I was able to work my full day with clients, with partners, do all the things that I normally do, no downtime whatsoever. And I had energy, I had vitality. Only on day 7, I had a little bit of a hard time in the afternoon where I had to like rest for a little bit. But outside of that, I did not have to book time off and just lay around and rest because I still had energy and vitality. And the only thing I can attribute to that is the fact that I was drinking molecular hydrogen water with the frequencies, which was helping to upregulate the mitochondria, helping to reduce inflammation, and hydrating at a deeper level. And so my body was just able to keep going. It makes sense because if you're doing water only and you're not intaking any food, most of us have enough fat on us that our body can utilize those fat stores for energy and for whatever we need on a daily basis. So if your body has those resources, why is there any struggle with water only? It's only, well, there's 2 aspects of it. There's always the mental. I got some balloons. There's the mental aspect of it, because if mentally we don't prepare properly to do water only, it's very, very challenging. And this is why I always say that if you have a desire to do water only, please make sure that you're properly supervised, either working with a practitioner like myself or in clinic somewhere where you're being guided and supported. Very, very important. So there's always the mental aspect. And then there's just like the physical aspect is that obviously different water has different impact within the body. And I've done it with distilled water and I've done it with molecular hydrogen. In fact, I'm about to do another 7 days on water only, but I'm going to be using the molecular hydrogen because it was a much easier process for me and experience. So proper hydration, that's a long way of saying proper hydration is key for your overall health and well-being. And most people are chronically dehydrated. They're drinking the wrong kind of water and they're dehydrated. And then they've been told that they need to drink water. So then they drink water in those little plastic bottles that are leaching microplastics into the water. And then that's what they're putting into their body, increasing the microplastics in their body. So what kind of water you drink, where it comes from is very, very important. And it's not just about buying bottled water or having filtered water. It's really about making sure, like, what is the structure of that water and does it actually hydrate at the cell level? The couple things I forgot to mention about this particular bottle is that the electrolysis process is done at low voltage. So it doesn't change the pH or the alkalinity of the water whatsoever. And the other part of it is the parts in the bottle they're really the top of the line parts. So there's no chemicals or heavy metals leaching into the water. All the cheap hydrogen bottles that you see on the market, the reason they're so cheap is that they're not using high quality components. And so they are leaching chemicals and heavy metals into the water. In fact, I've seen tests done that prove that they're leaching chemicals and heavy metals into the water. And that's why I won't work with the other bottles. This bottle I know doesn't leach any chemicals or heavy metals into the water. And it's using the highest quality membrane as well as that low voltage electrolysis process. Plus, it has magnets in the base, which help to support structuring the water. And structured water just behaves differently in our body. And I do have other videos I've done talking about molecular hydrogen and hydration in general. So please look for those other videos. So quality hydration is key, and then quality nutrition is key. And I mean, I could honestly do so many videos talking about the issues with the food system, but basically as it stands right now, most of what is sold to people as food is not food, right? 70 to 80% of what is sold in grocery stores is GMO. And so GMO foods, because they've been chemically altered, that food information doesn't land the same way in our body. Our body doesn't recognize it as food. This is why GMO is not good. And most of what grocery stores are selling is GMO. And then even if you're trying to buy organic, you have to really ask yourself, what kind of soil is that food grown in? What is is it picked when it's actually ripe, or is it picked before it's ripe? Because if you're picking food before it's ripened, it doesn't have the same nutrients and the enzymes, right? Mother Nature is so brilliant in her design. She has created food a certain way. And as human beings, we think we're going to do it better than she does. And it's epically failing. Not to mention that a lot of people are living primarily on fast foods and processed foods and what I like to call frankenfoods. I don't even consider them to be food, right? Like, basically, if you see a commercial for something and it's called food, it isn't food. They're trying to sell you a product and convince you that it's food, right? They've convinced everybody that pizza is food, chicken wings are food, that all of these highly processed, fractionated things are food when they're not, because your body doesn't see them as food. It's about what the body needs and what the body desires. And so when we put in things into our body that are hard for our body to digest, that are loaded with toxic chemicals and metals and additives and preservatives and food colorings, like all of that stuff is completely foreign to your body. Your body doesn't recognize that so-called food information. So you want to be looking for organic, regeneratively grown. And I understand how frustrating it is. I do, because, I live in a big city, and yes, it's very challenging to get proper food. Even in a big city, you would think that you would have more access, but we don't. We don't, because the grocery store model is essentially a model that's built for profit. It's not built to nourish people, right? So once you understand that, then it's really, really important to look at where can we get quality nutrition? Where can we get quality nutrients? And this is why I've worked with a superfoods company now for close to 6 years. Why? Because all of the farmers that they work with are working with they're regenerative farmers. So their soils actually have nutrients in the soil. They're doing a proper crop rotation. They're dehydrating. First of all, their foods are picked vine ripened. So all the nutrients and the enzymes are there. And then to preserve those nutrients and enzymes, everything is dehydrated at low temperature so that when you add water, you activate those nutrients and enzymes. And this is done across the board for the fruits, the veggies, the herbs. This is done across the board. Everything is tested multiple times to ensure purity. And and I hear it from so many people on a weekly basis, the difference that they feel in their body. And I know for myself, I've felt the difference in my own body, because This was what helped me to get off of reverse hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's, and to get off of thyroid medication. And that was over 5 years ago. So the proof is in the so-called, plant pudding, if you want to put it that way. And I've seen this particular line of superfoods help reverse chronic health conditions in literally tens of thousands of people. Everything from hormonal imbalances to type 2 diabetes to weight issues to multiple different kinds of autoimmune conditions. And so I primarily, to this day, I still focus on having a majority of my daily nutrition from the superfoods. And I try and minimize my exposure to the so-called foods from the supermarket as much as possible. I buy as organic as possible, but it's not always possible, right? So we all got to do our best, and there are solutions that are available. And if you're interested, I do have a 25% off discount code for the superfoods. So you can just check the links below this video. You can also check the links for this particular bottle. This is the Cell Power Lumi bottle. And so if you could do those two things on repeat, day after day after day after day, you're creating a strong foundation for your nutrition, for your hydration. And since our body makes cells and tissues from the nourishment that we're putting in, as you improve the quality of your nutrition and your hydration, you're going to notice a shift in your energy. You're going to notice an improvement in gut health, in skin health, in vitality, in just how you feel overall in your body. You're going to notice those changes. And I can tell you, I've done this now I've had a clinical practice for 8 years. I've worked with the superfoods for 6 years. I've seen so many people transform their health. Like, nothing surprises me anymore. One of my clients, she got pregnant at 45 using the superfoods. At 45 years old, she wanted to get pregnant. So we put her on a protocol to help address her gut issues, hormonal balance, and all of that. And boom, next thing you know, she was pregnant. And that's not the first person I've seen that happen to. I've seen it happen time and time and time and time again. So those two things are foundational. Coincidentally, the Superfoods line has a couple of amazing supports for sleep. This is also one of the things that I think is very, very key for anybody, but especially for women in their 30s and their 40s, is making sure that you're optimizing your sleep. Sleep is when your body gets to recover from the day. So if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not getting enough quality deep sleep, what ends up happening is that your body's not able to rebalance itself properly. It's not able to, our hormones don't get to recover or balance properly. And so if you're not getting that deep, restful sleep, your muscles aren't repairing the same way. Your cognitive function is not repairing the same way. Nothing in your body is repairing as it should. So with the Superfoods line, there's something called Apothecary that I've used now for 6 years. It is amazing in helping to support optimal sleep. And I track my sleep, and the odd time that I don't take Apothecary, I end up having terrible deep sleep. Like, we're talking about an hour of deep sleep when I'm taking my Apothecary. And especially if I add in the pineal clear into that, if I'm doing the Apothecary and the pineal clear, I'm getting anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours of deep sleep a night. And when those nights happen, I wake up the next day and I feel absolutely amazing, And so sleep is really, really important. Aside from that, really important to get away from your devices at least an hour before bedtime. Use blue light blockers as well, because especially if you're like me and you're on screens all the time, it is really, really important to use blue light blockers. And I personally use EMF protection. I've been using this now for over a year. This is Aries Tech. I do have a 30% off code for it. I swear by it because I notice, like, before, when I was on my technology all the time, by the time the day was over, by end of day, I felt really like jittery. And it was because we're all surrounded by EMFs and Wi-Fi signals 24/7. If you live in a community, whether it's a small town or a big city, there's a lot of Wi-Fi that is around us at all times. And so it is really, really important to make sure that you are. My hair is bugging me today. um, that's a total unnecessary aside. But anyway, it's really, really important that you're using some kind of Wi-Fi protection, because what the Wi-Fi signals do in our body is they disrupt the communication between all of our cells. And the Aries Tech technology is designed in such a way where your technology will still work, but your body isn't affected the same way. So if you go to their website, they've got the research, they have the data there, and you can read through it. There's a whole bunch of different articles. And there's a lot of pro athletes in the NHL, NFL, NBA, UFC that are all using Aries Tech. But the funny thing is, I started using Aries Tech before all of these pro athletes started using it. And now there's all these pro athletes that are jumping on board that are using Aries Tech. And if you think about the kind of shape that someone who's like athletic has to be in, how mindful they are of the inputs that they're putting into their body so that they can function at their optimal, it's pretty astounding. So, I'm glad that we've got all of these athletes that are jumping on board with Aries Tech. But regardless of whether you use this or something else, it is really, really important to use some type of EMF protection, especially if you are someone who has to be on technology a lot. And a lot of us do. We have to be on our laptops and our phones, and so it's kind of like, on the one side, there's a tremendous amount of freedom in being able to have a business that can operate from absolutely anywhere, and all you need is a Wi-Fi connection. On the other hand, there are downsides. And so it's important to recognize what's going on and to support your body accordingly. So just to kind of like highlight, if you're a woman in your 30s and your 40s, quality hydration, quality nutrition, sleep are three really, really important things. And then the next thing is movement. Movement is key. Our bodies were made to move, right? Our ancestors were walking something like 20,000 steps a day. Most people barely walk 5,000 steps a day. And for myself, because I work from home and I'm on a laptop or my phone all the time, I have to make a conscious effort to go move my booty. So one of the things that I do is I always look at my calendar the night before, and I look and see what meetings and calls I have scheduled the next day. And so what I like to do is on meetings, like say I'm on team meetings or business meetings where I don't have to speak, I don't have to present, I will put that in my calendar as like a time where I'm going to go for a walk. So for example, later today at 7:00, I have a meeting. I intend to be walking outside during that meeting. And so wherever I can inject movement into my day, I do that. There are also treadmill desks. I haven't gotten there yet, but one of the plant-based doctors that I really idolize, Dr. Greger, he has one of those treadmill desks. And so a lot of times when he's on calls, even on calls where he's speaking, you will see him walking on his treadmill desk. I try not to schedule back-to-back calls at all, because I find that if I'm having to sit for a couple of hours at a time, my body is not happy. My body is like, my hips start to tighten up, my low back starts to tighten up. So you must move your body. Your body is made to move. Look at your calendar, figure out how you're going to get in some movement. Walking, in my opinion, walking, yoga, Pilates, those are some of the best ways to move your body, because number one, they're low impact. Number two, they help create strength and they work multiple systems in your body at the same time. Weight training, I think, is very, very important for women in their 30s and their 40s, because one of the things that we struggle with in general is building muscle mass within our body. But as we get older, it becomes more challenging challenging to build that muscle mass. And so having some type of a weight training program, whether it's just body weight, like doing squats, lunges, push-ups, and using your own weight, which is what yoga and Pilates is, right? Like yoga and Pilates uses a lot of your own body weight to do things, or whether you do weights. It doesn't matter, but find something that you enjoy doing and then just do it on a consistent basis. Really, really important. Yeah, and you may have to experiment. You may have to go try different things. I've gone through different cycles in my life, like where periods of time where I did a lot of weight training and a lot of yoga, and other periods where maybe, like, there was even a period of time where I did Muay Thai. Believe it or not, I did Muay Thai for, like, I think there was a period where for 6 months I was hardcore into Muay Thai. And then I was like, I'm wasn't into punching things anymore. And so my movement schedule these days is I make a point of getting outside and doing a walk every single day. Even before my day starts, I like to do a walk of some sort daily. I like to do yoga every single day. And that's just because I find that I'm sitting so much that the yoga really helps with the flexibility and the mobility. Like if I start to feel anything in my back or my hips or my shoulders, I know that I need to just do more yoga and do more mobility type stuff. So that's really, really key. If you want to be moving your body in your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, the younger you start, the better it's going to be for you, right? This isn't there's someone that I follow on Instagram, and he's a big mobility guy. And every once in a while he puts out a reel where he shares, like, it's basically people in their 30s that, like, someone stands up and their back goes out, or they go up the stairs and their knees are creaking and all of these things. And he'll do reaction shots of himself, like reacting to these people that are complaining about all of these things going wrong with their body and how they're getting older. And it's like anything. It's not a product of you getting older. It's the fact that you're not using your body the way it's supposed to be used. You're not moving enough, right? And I would say the same thing holds true for nutrition and hydration. If you're not putting the proper nutrition and hydration into your body, and then you start to feel like you're gassy, you're bloated, you're putting on weight, you don't have any energy, you're not sleeping well, the problem isn't that there's something wrong with your body. It's what you're doing with your body on a daily basis. So you need to change the inputs. You need to change the quality of the nutrition and the hydration and start moving your body and optimizing your sleep. And I promise you, if you do this on a consistent enough basis over a long enough period of time, you're going to feel a difference within your body. And I would say, like, from what my experience has been in all of the years that I've been doing this now, is that every single person, when we improve the quality of their nutrition and their hydration, their sleep automatically gets better and they start to feel a difference in their body within days. I'm not even talking about weeks, like within days, they start to feel the difference. That's how powerful it is. And if you're not doing that, if you're kind of like just whatever, you're eating whatever everybody around you is eating, you're not moving, then don't be surprised if you don't feel good. Right. And if you have a diagnosis, that's even more motivation, I would hope, for you to start changing what you're doing. Because when there is a medical diagnosis of, like, oh, there's something that's gone wrong in the body. And so, whether you're dealing with diabetes or an autoimmune condition or something else, gut issues, it's all a sign from your body that things are out of balance. But if you change what you're doing, change how you move, change how you sleep, change how you hydrate and eat, guess what? You can reverse pretty much anything, right? You don't have to be on medication for the rest of your life. Maybe you're on medication for a period of time to just help deal with, like, symptoms. But as you change your habits and your body starts to heal itself, because it's the body that's healing itself, then you can gradually wean off those medications. I mean, that's been my experience, and I've seen that happen so many times for so many people. So those are some things that you want to get started with. So if you are somebody, a woman in her 30s and 40s, and you're wanting to age as gracefully as possible, you want to be moving and grooving and feeling good in your body well into your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, and beyond, it's about starting today. Don't put yourself last on your list. You are the most important person on your list. And especially if you're looking after kids and parents, and you have people that rely on you, you have people that need you to be at your best, then you actually have a moral obligation. Yes, a moral obligation to start taking care of yourself so that you can show up as your best self. Like, one of the things that I am so grateful for is I'm grateful that I went on a health journey. I'm grateful that I struggled with hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's, because it forced me to learn about how the human body works. And it also forced me to learn what are the best tools, what are the best ways for me to support health within my body. And thanks to all of these amazing tools, I get to have vibrant health. Like, I've been completely off medication now for over 5 years. I wake up every day, I feel amazing. I have the energy and the vitality and the bandwidth to help people every single day. Like, that is a blessing. It's truly a blessing. So if you're watching this video, somehow it's come across your feed, however it's come across your feed, heed this message and get to work. Get to work for real. So I do have a membership called Elevate. You can check it out. It really addresses the root causes of chronic illness and dis-ease within the body, and it uses all of these tools that I'm sharing with you on this live, and really shares best practices of how you can start to get your health back on track, what that looks like, what the protocols are, and and we do live weekly calls as well for that program. So you can check that out. It is linked up below. If you're not already following this page, please do, because I love having this opportunity to share all of this health information with you. So that said, I'm going to shift gears slightly because it is Monday. I always like doing a little bit of a mindset piece to these lives, because I think so much of it is mindset. And everything is mindset in life, right? So if I have two people, and I think I've talked about this before, if I have someone who really believes that their body has the ability to heal itself, and I have someone else who doesn't believe that their body can heal, everything in their body is contingent on their belief system. So the person who doesn't believe their body can heal, their body's not going to metabolize foods the same way. It's going to be in more of a chronic state of stress, which is going to prevent the body from healing itself properly. When I have somebody who believes in the body's ability to heal itself, then their mindset is going to be different. The way that food is metabolized in their body is going to be different. Everything is going to be different in terms of how they experience their health journey. When they're facing, like, detox symptoms, or something is coming up in their physical body, instead of being negative about it, they're probably going to be more excited and be like, oh, I guess my body is doing something because I'm feeling something different, you know? Whereas somebody who doesn't believe their body has the ability to heal itself, they're going to be more negative about experiencing certain things. So one of the things that I shared on my Instagram today is to really start to love yourself, and to remove the blocks that you have within yourself to creating joy, to creating abundance, to creating vitality within your body. And so I've been meditating daily now for years, since 2007. Meditation is a huge part of my practice. It's a big part of my day. If something is stressing me out, I will usually just close my eyes, breathe, and take a few deep breaths and meditate. Every single day, I like to start my day with meditation. If For example, last night we had a full moon. I had a bit of a challenging time going to sleep, which is unusual for me. Instead of struggling with sleep, I just decided I'm just going to sit up and I'm just going to meditate until I feel ready to lay down. And that's what I ended up doing. So, a really powerful way that you can start to remove the blocks within you to your own healing is to get into a meditative state, like close your eyes, sit up nice and tall, or lay down, whatever you prefer. Most of the time, the reason that meditation is taught sitting up is because a lot of times when we lay down, our body relaxes and you can fall asleep. But what you want to do is sit up nice and tall, get into a calm meditative space, and then think of a younger version of you, like sometime in your life, maybe where you were struggling, maybe where you were frustrated. Visualize that younger version of you, and then send that younger version of you love and light. Like literally wrap yourself up in brilliant white light, like a bubble, and send yourself lots of loving energy. And trust that as you're doing that, you're also removing the blocks within you in the here and the now, in the present. Because if we think of all of the different timelines, and if you're not someone who has looked into quantum and timelines, this might go a little bit over your head, but there's no past, there's no future. Everything is happening in the now. Everything is happening in the here and the now, because everything is energy and frequency, and we have multiple timelines happening simultaneously. So if we want to tap into better health, more abundance, different type of relationship, all we have to do is to really change our energy, our frequency, our vibration. So as you embrace that younger version of yourself that maybe was in that place where there was upset or trauma or anything happening, as you send that younger version of yourself love and light, you are simultaneously healing the present day version of yourself in the here and the now. So you're literally creating space. And often the world that we live in, the 3D world that we live in, we're told that we need to react, that everything is outside of us and we have to react to everything going on. So if something good happens, we react in a positive way. If something bad happens, we're all upset. But in reality, it's us it's always a game of you and you. It's like you are in a virtual reality and you are the only player. Everything is fiction. And so when you understand that and you come into like just being with yourself and changing how you respond and being at peace with absolutely everything at all times, then you will be sent fewer tests from the universe. So, and oftentimes when we're sent tests from the universe, it's really for our own benefit and our own growth. So I was speaking to somebody earlier today and he's like, "Oh, how's it going?" And I said, "It's going great." And it wasn't going great. It had actually been a very challenging morning. And he's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's great. And even if it's not going great, it's still great because it's always to my benefit." My shift on that was, even though the morning was challenging, it was an opportunity for me to come into my own internal Zen space and not be reactive to what was happening around me. And so, if we want to shift to a higher timeline, a better timeline, the only thing that we have to shift is our response to our environment and to whatever is happening around us. If we decide that absolutely everything is always for our highest good and for our benefit, then soon enough, that is what we will attract, more and more of what is to our highest good. And if you stop reacting to low vibrational things, if you stop responding in anger, and instead you start to choose to respond with gratitude, with love, with kindness, then because that is the frequency and the energy that you are putting out, and we are in an energy universe, that's what starts to come back is more things to be grateful for, more things to be in love with, more things to just to celebrate. And so even let's say you come across somebody who's really challenging you, instead of the normal response that most of us have is when someone starts to challenge us, we get upset, we get angry. If you just decide that you're going to send that person love and light, and that's all you're going to do, what is going to come back to you is love and light. Now, maybe that person's not going to give you love and light back because that's not where they're at. It doesn't matter. It's just about what you're putting out, because what you're putting out is what you're going to get back. That's literally how it works. And oftentimes we allow ourselves to be triggered by every little thing. But if you just remind yourself, oh, this is just a little test and I get to practice, and that's how you respond, then more and more what will happen is those tests will fade away and you will have more and more of the good stuff coming your way. And because that's what you've been putting out. And this has been my firsthand experience just with what I've gone through in my life is for years I've had a gratitude practice. And I just keep putting out gratitude every day. No matter what, I put out gratitude, and more things that happen for me to be grateful for. Does that mean that I don't get tests? No, of course not. I'm human. Part of being human is I'm going to get tested. But when those tests come, I don't react the same way. And even if I do get upset because I am human, I don't stay upset the same amount of time. I used to stay upset about something for days and days and days. I'd pick up my phone and call every single friend I had and complain about this, that, and the other thing. Now, when things happen that upset me, I just notice it. I take a deep breath and I let it go. And I just get back to doing what I was doing. That's it. Simple as that. And it's practice. It is practice. It's not easy because we've been trained since we were kids, like babies, to react to our environment. But if you start to think that your environment is like, it's in, I think it's Esther Hicks that says that your current environment is actually old news. It is what has manifested from everything from before. So what you're witnessing is the old stuff. And if you put your focus and your energy just literally on where you want to go and what you want to build and what you want to attract, and you just put that out there no matter what, it's only a matter of time before that starts to show up. That also means that you have to show up and do the thing, right? Like you can't just lay in bed and think that it's all going to happen. You still have to take inspired right action, right? It's still on you to do something instead of nothing. But it's going to come from a different place. And because your intention is coming from a different place, what appears is going to be different. So that's one of the things that I'm very mindful of is like when I'm putting out a newsletter, when I'm doing a video, when I'm creating something, when I'm about to have a conversation with someone, I'm always mindful of like, where am I coming from? Am I coming from the best place possible? And if I know that I'm coming from the best place possible, then it's all good. If I'm coming from a place where I feel stressed, where I feel overwhelmed, sometimes I don't even want to have certain conversations because I know I'm not coming from the right place. So, and it's always a work in progress, right? Like it's always a work in progress, but it's an amazing opportunity. This is how you literally get to create the life that you desire. And I mean, I could talk about this more, but this live has gone on a lot longer than I intended. I hope you found some valuable tidbits that you can start to adopt into your life, whether on the health side or the mindset side. Give it a try. That's it. Like, just give it a try. Start applying it into your life. If you're not already following this channel, please subscribe, share it with your friends. My intention with this channel is to really put this information out there so that you can improve your health, your well-being, and you can also start to utilize some of the tools that I've been utilizing for the past several years that have really transformed my health and well-being. If you want to check out Elevate, please check it out below. I put out a weekly blog. I do this live. There's a lot of really cool things that are happening. And it's with the intention that you can start to utilize these tools to help improve your life. So if you have any questions, please post them below this video. Share this video with anyone you think could really benefit from this information. And I want to thank you for being part of my online community, for showing up to the lives, for watching the replays, for just being a part of my online space. It is truly an honor and a privilege to share this information with you. And I will see you on next week's live. Bye for now.